Open the gate. Who do you hate? That's your date. Guys, how are you doing? Welcome back to another video. Today, we are looking at every single Wizard 101 area, and I have decided which are the 5 most egregious, the most terrible, the most disgusting, vile areas that I hate to quest in. Now, obviously, I got some opinions from you guys, both on my streams, and I did have some polls on some other social medias, so if you are part of those, I appreciate you for answering them. But anyway, let's go ahead. If you disagree with me, that's totally cool. Let me know in the comments below. Subscribe if you guys are new. But anyway, let's go to number 5. So unfortunately, what is one of my favorite worlds in the entire game is a lot of people's least favorite, especially with the meteors that come down in Azteca. So we're going to talk about specifically Mangrove Marsh because all of this data comes from you guys. I really wanted to get some information kind of to see where you guys actually hated, because even though I really love Azteca, I know a lot of people don't like it. And as much as it pains me to put this on my top 5 list, you guys seem to hate this area in particular, where there are boss after boss after boss after boss. I think I did enough. Maybe I added one more after boss. But anyway, this area is notorious for there being quite a lot of bosses with a lot of health and a lot of defeat and collects that take a lot of time. You spend a lot of time here in the Mangrove Marsh, and honestly, you don't really stop for like the first 150 quests. Add that to the fact that anytime you ever come back, it's depressing music with meteors everywhere that kind of like make a lot of noise and flash on your screen. I can understand why some people don't like this area. I will say I do like it a lot. I feel like it looks really cool, like the light beaming in, but I have to give you guys credit where credit is due. It is probably my least favorite of all the areas in Azteca. Something that I would personally like to see is that we can turn off the meteors and maybe make it a little bit less bright. I feel like for an area that's supposed to be like in the middle of a marsh, right? It's a little bit too bright, especially over here. Shouldn't it be darker and like only be light where the light shines in? I just think that'd be pretty cool. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on to number 4. So the District of the Stars gets a lot of hate for being a really ugly area in the game. You got these repeated trees and a lot of just repeated textures from earlier areas. And not to mention the Piscean Guards, but that's for a different YouTube video. Celestia finds itself at the bottom of a lot of people's favorite lists. And as I discussed in my favorite worlds video that I made a couple days ago, it happens to be one of my favorites, but I have to agree with you guys on this area. This area is cheeks. Don't get me wrong, I do think that this thing over here is pretty cool, but it literally does like absolutely nothing. And this entire area just feels like it drags on forever. Obviously, and like what feels like it's going to be about like 20 years from now, when we do get a texture update for Celestia, we gotta fix whatever this is over here, because the ugly, like, brownish green that's supposed to be, like, I don't know, sea rocks, just does not look very good. And it's kind of a shame, because, like, Celestian technology, as I mentioned in that video, it looks really good. Like, look at this. If this was all HD, this pink gem and everything, it could look so good. But it's, like, the nasty green textures that are obviously, like, 240p, the awful-looking waterfalls, it does not make Celestia look very good. I will say, though, compared to some other people, I don't feel as strongly about this area that other people seem to. I still think there are super cool things like this shark mouth over here, but I can understand why you guys don't like it. Something else I would personally fix is turning down the brightness of this. Good lord, it feels like I'm on a freaking LED light. But anyway, this area is nothing compared to number 3, so let's go ahead and go there right now. I do have to say, Colossus Boulevard was an honorable mention for this spot, but of course, number 3 is going to be Firecat Alley. So Firecat Alley used to be incredible. It was beloved by a lot of people. It's one of the first 3 streets, so of course people are going to like it. So why is it number 3 on this list? Because they ruined it. They made this entire area be like a really cute story between everybody, to adding Lizzo Fire Spitter, which also, with all the drama that you've seen from Lizzo, I don't think that's a really good representation for your game. And besides, it's not a real partnership, as we figured out on stream. That was frustrating. But also, the world just kind of lost its pizzazz. The fire elves just go, fire from fiddle, fire from fiddle. It is the most frustrating thing I have ever heard in my life. Oh my gosh. I was doing my level lock the other day, and I was going through Firecat Alley. If I have to hear Fire Fo Fiddle one more freaking time, a fire elf is going to get yeeted off of this freaking cliff. I cannot stand this area anymore. It is the worst of the 3 areas by a long shot. I was really considering putting Colossus Boulevard here because I'm trying to go off of what you guys tell me in streams and the other polls that I've done and everything. However, I had to add a little bit of my own bias in this one. Colossus Boulevard, while it looks ugly and I hate gobblers, at least it looks somewhat cool and the characters aren't that annoying. And this one, my gosh, they all suck. So what would I do to fix this area? Well, first, we gotta get rid of Lizzo Fire Spitter. Her as a character, like, her actual character is fine, but I think having the pop culture reference is stupid. So replace her with an actual Wizard 101 character and be original. Second, I think the area looks super cool, but make it a super cool area. Cyclops Lane is, like, weird, right? Triton Avenue's almost sad with everything that's happened to it. Make Firecat Alley badass. Make it like, you know, the entire city's gotten overrun by fire elves and we have to take them all out. Like, make it a cool story. Make us, like, awesome. instead of having to deal with some washed up theater kid who didn't get cast for his play. That is a terrible design choice, and I will never forgive them for doing that. Moving on to number 2, because now I'm mad. Of course, it pains me to have 2 of my favorite worlds on this list, but Last Wood is one that I see people hate a lot. Now, obviously, I use some bias when it comes to Firecat Alley, so I wanted to take it back all out and listen to you guys, and I've seen a lot of people say they hate Last Wood. Because, not that it looks awful, it's definitely like one of the worst looking areas in Chrysalis, but because you have to defeat so many of the same exact thing, flame legs, you have to come back and defeat the blue razors and everything like that, and it just is a little bit repetitive, and by a little bit, I mean a lot of bit. And all of how it looks very similar. You have the light green part, the dark green part, and then you do have the part that's like burned by the fire people. And while it's still a little bit different in each area, it's all pretty much the same. And you have to come back here so many times, it's almost like you're just on the edge of your seat until you unlock Shadow Magic and you get to Darkmoor and all the interesting things start happening. I said it when I was ranking my favorite worlds the other day. The second half of this world, Chrysalis, is incredible, but the first half gets so repetitive that it gets frustrating sometimes. And this area is one that you have to go back and forth to at least 14,000 times. So what would I do to fix it? Well, first, we gotta update the textures a little bit. This skybox is not it. I don't like the flowers, they all look the exact same. So let's add some different looking flowers. We're in the middle of the woods in a really cool world. Let's make it look cool. Second, I would just honestly cut out some of the defeat Blue Razors quests and defeat some of the Flame Legs quests. We have like 6 of each. We don't need that, okay? We can just take off the legs one by one and use them to play a xylophone. That's freaking terrible and morbid, but at this point, I'm tired of it. But to end on a positive note, something that I do like about this area is it precedes a more fun part of one of my favorite worlds. So I guess that has it going for it. But anyway, that is nothing compared to number 1, which I almost guarantee is all of your least favorite areas. But anyway, let's go get into it. Oh, come on, don't act like you didn't see it coming. We are headed straight towards the Labyrinth, and as much as it pains me to have yet another top 10 favorite worlds of mine be in this list, the Labyrinth is a terrible, terrible dungeon. You have to defeat so many bosses, and if you're a solo, it is one of the hardest areas besides the Malistaire final battle. In fact, with my level lock streams that I'm doing, which I just did 5.5 hours today, I am on something. Oh my gosh, I'm tired. But anyway, when it comes to the level lock that I'm doing, I fear this a little bit more than I do Malistaire. I can prepare for Malistaire, but what I can't prepare for is all of the wandering bosses, which if you don't know what I mean by that, I basically mean any of the bosses that don't have like a set sigil. They just walk around the map, hope they spawn, and if they don't, you're kind of screwed. Getting those pulled into the right battle, being able to defeat them, and getting it done all alone in the span of a stream. So, I don't know about you guys, but it seems to be one of the least popular areas based on everybody I've asked and all of the polls that I've run. Now, what would I do to fix it? Cut out the bloat. It's so unnecessary in terms of what we do for the story. Like, yeah, okay, there's some benefit, don't get me wrong. There's benefit for almost every quest that we do. But, my lord, it's so not fun. It's just not a fun sigil. There's some cool areas, like, I actually think it looks somewhat cool, and at the very end, like, the last boss of it's pretty interesting. It just takes so freaking long. I mean, hell, if I click on this and it says over 2 hours, look at that. It takes about 2 hours to finish. Now, obviously, gotta end on a positive note. Something that I do like about this area is, like I said, the last boss is super cool. And when you get to, like, control the lava river, I think that's an excellent design choice. Overall, though, all these areas are for everybody's opinions. And if you disagree with me, I would love to hear your opinion. Let me know in the comments below. Also, what other videos do you want me to make on these similar topics? I love making them for you guys, and I appreciate every single one of you guys. If you haven't already, be sure to check out my music. It's Robify, R-O-B-I-F-Y on Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere that you get your music. But I will see you guys in the next video. You guys have a great rest of the day. See you guys next time. Good.